Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, the triangle below has an area of 49 square inches. What is the height of the triangle? So what is it that I'm looking for? Well, I'm looking for the height of the triangle, which is right here. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And they are giving us the area for my triangle, right? And not only that, but I do see some expressions, right? Like x plus 8, that is my base. X plus 1 is the height. Very good. So what I need to do next, I see the word area and triangle. So let's find the formula. If you don't know it by memory, they might be on your formula chart. So there's maybe at least two formulas that you can think of for the area for a triangle. And the first one could be half of the base times the height. And sometimes we think about earlier, maybe, and in the squares, and maybe you think about base times height divided by 2. Either one is exactly the same. I'm going to use this one because I feel that this is the one that I see more in some of the formula charts. So we'll stick to that. Area, it's 49 square inches, so I am going to write it down, replacing A, which is area. Then I have half, and the base is x plus 8, and the height is x plus 1. Is that right? Okay. Now, I know what you're thinking, so what do I do next? Now, remember, that half, you need to get rid of it, okay? Because before you can multiply your parentheses, we want to get rid of that 1/2, okay? And the way that you get rid of 1/2, which is a fraction, is actually multiplying by the reciprocal. Do you remember that? It's like multiplying by 2 over 1, which at the end of the day is like multiplying by 2. Do you guys see the same thing? Even though I didn't write the 1 under the 2, like 2 over 1, we know it's exactly the same, right? So now I am going to multiply 49 times 2, and I am going to get 98 equals, this is going to cancel, and now I can actually multiply my binomials, x plus 8 and x plus 1. And I will get x squared, because remember you multiply, plus 9x plus 8. And that's how you multiply. This is the answer when you multiply your two binomials. Okay? Now, what method am I going to do? Do I do quadratic, completing the square? One of the ones that I like, maybe, I don't know, I feel more comfortable with that one. It's the one where we actually find the factors, right? Okay? And once you do that kind of method more often, you don't even need to write down all the factors for them. Okay? Maybe that's the reason why I like it, because I like to practice on the things that are going to help me later on. Okay? So let's go ahead and subtract 98 on both sides. And the reason for that is so that I can get a 0, right? Okay, so I got 0 equals x squared plus 9x. And I'm going to subtract 8 minus 98. And I am going to get 90, right? And it's a minus 90, okay? So what I need to do now is I need to find the factors, okay? And there's different ways that you guys have done factors more than likely. And one of the things that I always ask the students to do is the t, right? So that I can say I'm going to multiply a times c, which is negative 90, and a positive 9. So I need to find two numbers that I multiply that gives me a negative 90, right? And if you're not sure what numbers you can use, you can always start dividing them. Like divide 90 divided by 2, 90 divided by 3, 90 divided by 4, and so on until you find the ones. And remember, you need to find the sum of 9. Okay, so I know one of the numbers needs to be a negative number so that I can get a negative 90 as an answer. And my two factors, and I'm just going to give them to you because this is not the lesson for today. It's going to be 15 times negative 6. Those two gives me a negative 90. And if I add them, it actually gives me a positive 9. Okay? So these will be the two factors, the ones that I'm going to use for my factors. Okay? So one of my factors is going to be x plus 15, and the other one is going to be x minus 6. Okay? Now that I have my factors, right, I'm going to make them equals to a 0. I'm going to subtract 15 on both sides, and I get x equals to a negative 15. Okay, and we're going to continue with the second factor, and the second factor is x minus 6. I will make that equals to a 0. I need to add 6 on both sides, and I'm going to get x equals to a 6. Is that right? So I have two answers right here. One is x equals to a negative, and the other one is a positive. So I can choose both of them to compare them on my height. But remember, since we're looking at the height, which is something that it cannot be negative, uh, I don't think x equals to a negative 15 would be an answer, but you can always check it out. So the height is x plus 1. So if x is a negative 15, I will have negative 15 plus 1, and that gives me a negative 14, which, like I said earlier, it cannot be a negative, so that cannot be my answer. On the other side, I have x plus 1, and that will be 6 plus 1 because I'm replacing the x with a 6, and I get a 7, right? So my height, according to this, will be a positive 7, which I do see as one of my answer choices. Okay, so just remember that I do have a negative number in my solutions, right? But my height cannot be negative. And I did work it out just to double check that it wouldn't be a positive number, but it ended up not working out either, right? So that cannot be my answer.